So there's two stories that I want to talk about. I guess fables or parables, and then I want to talk about a story. So the first is the story of the baby elephant, which is about an elephant who is tied to a chair as a baby, and he can't get away, and so he learns that he can't get away, and so he gives up on trying to get away. So when he finally becomes an adult, he fully has this idea that he will never be able to get away, even though he's this behemoth of an animal who could easily break the chair and break the rope and leave. In his mind, he believes that, he's not strong enough. He's too weak to break this chair and leave. And then the second is about sharks. It's also a parable, but the shark is in a tank. And in this tank, he can only grow so big. He can never fully outgrow his tank. So in the tank, he only grows to 8 inches. But if he was in the ocean, he'd grow to 8 feet. Now, this isn't necessarily true. They still will face another set of challenges in trying to grow in a smaller tank. The first story tells us this idea of learned helplessness. These things that we learned as a child or a baby that still, tie us down. They may no longer hold us back currently, but we believe that they still hold us down. It is a physical trauma, or I guess not physical, a mental trauma on you, and how you believe that despite being fully capable of doing so, you can't, because for so long you were tied down. The second story is of similar design, where it is self-limiting beliefs based on, but rather than a chair physically holding you back, it is a tank you have built around yourself on the beliefs that you can only grow so big. But when put into a different environment, you can grow so much larger. When in a different environment, you have the capacity for so much more. And it's only in this environment that you believe you have the capacity for so little. You are within your comfort zone of this small tank, but it is limiting your growth. Among other things, there are going to be other things limiting your growth. That could be people, that could be these old traumas that you still have not worked through in some way. These could be habits that you believe to be good, but are holding you back from reaching or growing out your potential. I don't know why, but this reminded me of a story I read. I don't know when I read it or how I read it. I don't even, do I own the book? Let me see. Yeah, I don't think I own the book, but I remember it for some reason, and it's The One and Only Ivan. It's about this gorilla who lives in a shopping mall, behind glass. People walk in, they see him. I'm pretty sure it's like a zoo thing. I don't perfectly remember it. It's been a while since I've read it. But at first, Ivan is sort of fine with this life of his because it's the only life has lived. But as the story progresses and he meets other characters, how he lives changes because he realizes that there is something else inside of him, something else that he dreams of. He wants to, I guess, be this wild animal, or not especially wild animal, but he wants to be in a free, open space. He doesn't want to just live in this little box any longer. It's interesting because Ivan is an artist, so I guess like humans, he paints his life. So initially that art is sort of just his life. But as it goes on, it becomes what he dreams of, what he wants. He doesn't want to just be in this box. He has the capacity for so much more than just being a gorilla, or not even the capacity for so much more. There is so much more his life could be outside of this. His natural state isn't that of being in a box. A gorilla or anybody isn't supposed to be kept in a box. We often find comfort, and he found comfort in this box because that's all he knew. That's how he lived. That was his daily life. It was his natural state until he found out that there could be so much more. And he wanted to see that. I don't know. I was just reminded of that story and thinking about those two parables. And I finally wanted to talk about them, sort of these self-limiting ideals of you being told you can't, you being in a space where you believe you can't do something because that's all you've known. But just because that's all you've known doesn't mean that's all there is. Now, I'm not saying that you'll suddenly wake up and be okay or defeat that learned helpless, like that helpless belief or these self-limiting beliefs. But the tank or the chair or the mall zoo is not the only thing that you'll ever know. Or to say that these things aren't the only things that you can know. There is much more outside of them. Yeah, peace out and bye.